Yeah, so you've been around, and what sort of highlights can you share? Having been in this network, for this period of time that you have been.
Yeah. Well, first, I can say I love it. And the biggest highlights, although there have been many, I think the biggest for me was securing the right people to work with.
Yeah,
There are a vast number of people in the network that you can tap into. My network inside of our network is quite small. One of the things that I wanted to do was not treat people like suppliers, but treat them like partners. Therefore, I become very loyal.
right.
Um, and it was securing those partners. So finding people like you and your team, finding people like Jack Porter Smith and his team. Actually, Jack has been so absolutely vital and instrumental in my success. And our partnership has been really fruitful for both of us. And I want to build more of those within the network. Because if you're not creating a sort of triune partnership where the client wins, the partner wins, and I win, it can be very, very fruitful. But most people will treat partners like vendors, and I think that's a really poor approach
Yeah,
because you're not going to get the best for your client that way. Does
yeah,
that
and
make
I've
sense?
yeah I've experienced that, because I'm sort of a little bit different to most in the network because I run my own franchise and we've ended up being a vendor or solution center in there. And I know when I started, I realized that if you were, and you mentioned it now, if you were loyal, meaning you linked up with a partner and you supported them, as opposed to chopping and changing and not creating sort of like a recurring, there's some recurring activity, recurring business, and that's how the relationships are built. And then and I think you've seen this is, people will stand on their heads to help you. They'll just do it. It won't be, well, like, I don't really know you. It's one-off type work. So I think
Yeah.
it's spot on. I think when you the network is vast and there's a lot of good people in it, but it's good to do what you've done because you've almost created your own team. I know when I join you with your clients, I feel like I'm part of your team, and the client sees me as Heidi's team, and that's why I call you boss lady. When we're there, because because that's where we are, and it's fantastic because you go in with a lot of support and just a lot of confidence. I think the confidence is the thing, that clients can see straight away whether you can do it. You actually know the stuff. So and I've seen
I know
you.
it at a cursory level, though,
Yeah,
Francois. So I know how everything that we do at a very high level, strategic level, can help our clients. But really, what they don't know is that when I'm bringing you on a call, it's because you really are the brains behind the machine. You actually make things work. And you lead a team of how many professionals do you have now? Like, you have a bunch.
yeah,
I've
20.
worked with a lot of people. I think there's like 20 people that have touched on my projects at any time.
Yeah,
So it's a big team of very smart people.
and they know you're very important to us. So there we go. Um,
Vice versa. And the thing with Jack, like, I hand things off and I trust that they're going to
yeah,
get done like in a stellar manner. I don't have to worry about it.
right.
And that's the beauty of partnership. I never worry.
So tell
Sometimes
me,
clients, they
yeah,
can be, but I never take it for granted that the client is
uh,
absolutely right because they sometimes get it wrong. And if we can, you know, correct course with the client very easily, it keeps the relationship healthy. It's good.
now, what you've just described is all lovely, but I know I've been around for a while. There's been some obstacles that I've faced. What obstacles could you share with us that you faced in your business? It can sound good, but every business has got some problems.
Yes. And you know what? My biggest obstacle has been my own self, Francois.
Okay.
Once I finally figured out how to make money at this, I've been soaring. But I bumped around for a little while being an entrepreneur. It's not glamorous in the day to day. I know people think, they'll say, oh, you're a business owner, you're so fortunate. I'm like, what? You don't know how hard I work and how much grunt work I do.
Yeah.
Lots of doors slammed in your face. And you just have to let it roll off your back like a duck. So you have to be willing to put your ego aside and really learn what it means to be a business owner. We work longer, we work harder than most of our friends. We make sacrifices for our businesses, and we do it consistently, like day after day after day. So I do a lot of things that I used to have staffers do for me. And I'm like, oh, wow, was this really what I made them do? Jeez, how boring. But I don't care, because I love every single minute of being the master of my own destiny.
Right.
That's really super important to me.
Absolutely. So tell me.
I also made some wrong choices.
Yeah.
I'm usually pretty smart about sizing people up. And I did make some wrong choices of people who didn't have the, what did I call it? The same outlook on the supplier consultant relationship as I do. But those are par for the course. You work through it.
Right.
And you move on.
So I've watched you quite a lot. I've admired you the way you're so focused. You know exactly what you're after. So tell us a little bit about these good skills, these best skills that you have, that you bring to your business, because each one of us has that special magic. So when we listen to these interviews, these are things that can really resonate with us.
That is so funny. I didn't even know I was on your radar, Francois. Like, I know we worked together, but I didn't know you were like watching my sort of modus operandi. Am I right?
Yeah. But listen, before you answer, and the reason you're on the radar is quite simple. You're on social media. You are active. And, you always have something to say and contribute and share. And I think that's how you get noticed, right? So that's the thing in this business. If you withdraw and you don't focus on sales and you think sales is just bashing down a door, it's not. It's really getting some visibility and letting people listen to you. So, that's how I saw you. I mean, there was Heidi, commenting on things and being straight out forward, which was great. You thought, yeah, somebody who knows what they want, and I think that's something that I learned in corporate. I was going after a job once, and no matter how hard I worked for it, I just wasn't getting it, a position. So I took my boss out for dinner, and I said to him, how come I can't get this job? I mean, like I'm the best person for it. I said, how does a guy like that guy get it? He says, that guy asked for the job. That's all. He just said he asked for the job. And so after dinner, I sent him an email. I said, I'm asking for this job, and I got it. It was, I learned something there, that if you don't step up, people are not just going to pick you up and do something with it. So, that's what it's about. Is just step up, let people see who you are. So tell me about these fantastic skills you have.
Yeah, be fearless. You have to be fearless. And some of it is fake it till you make it. You have to exude confidence.
Right.
If you exude confidence, even if you're petrified inside and you're a bowl of jello, never let it show. Right. Never. And another thing that's really super important is tenacity. That is something that always came out even in my performance reviews when I was corporate side. Heidi just doesn't give up. She never gives up. Yeah. And So that, with an ability to pivot when something isn't working, is important. I won't lie. I struggled a ton in the early days. I chose the wrong partners. I created the wrong strategy for myself. I didn't specialize in doing just a few things like really, really well. I didn't make a whole lot of money. I mean, I was sustaining, but not making a whole lot. And what happened was I was too focused on working in my business, the very thing I was told not to do, instead of on it. So I wasn't selling enough. And when I flipped that on its head, things really started changing and really started humming.
Right. So, do you have any goals that you have set yourself? I mean, you are goal driven, I know that, but sort of looking forward, in the next year. And I think too, one thing that in the previous interviews that I've covered, we weren't in this coronavirus situation with lockdown and things like that. So, sometimes your goals shift. So, have you seen what you're going to do now this next year, based on the market and just the global turmoil that's happening at this stage?
Yeah. So there is a pivot that's happening, most definitely. The good news is business has not dropped off during COVID. In fact, with many of my clients, it's growing because they want to do more. Even in one of the industries that we're servicing, it's a firm that does industrial kitchen equipment, if you can believe it, for hotels, for restaurants, and they thrived. I guess while things were shut down, people were renovating their kitchens and whatnot and getting ready for reopening. They thrived, and their competitors stopped advertising, so they were scooping up business like insane. It was amazing. So my goal in the next 5 years is to make another million. And instead of doing it in 7 years, I want to do it in 5 or less. 3 would be ideal. I want to leave this in great shape. So that's my goal. If that makes any sense at all. I want a healthy business that people can trust and believe in. That's what I want.
Yeah, I think that's that's something that we've workshopped a number of times. And head office gets a few of the tenured RCs who've been around for a long time and saying, well, you've built this business, what's your next step? What's the succession plan? Especially if it was like if you haven't got someone to hand it over to, what happens next, So, and we've worked on all of these challenges, it's like mine's more family business, and, I can see the family and staff, because it's big, take over, and I'm taking a back seat. But many people, would be here not knowing, what they're going to do, what happens next. So I can, it's good to have these goals to build it. And my point, Neil Lapid said it, and he keeps on saying it. He says, you got to have $1 million business for somebody who wants to buy it. You can't have a small business, and it's not really saleable in a big way. So they set that challenge, and it was like, go out there and make $1 million, and that's what most of the top guns have been firing at, and why we share this knowledge and and stuff around where we all have a similar goal, and we're not afraid to help one another achieve it, which is fantastic.
Yeah, Neil was a big inspiration to me. He probably doesn't even know. When I went to our first convention, I attended one of his workshops, and he explained to us how he grew his business. And he also told us that he struggled. And I'm like, if this man, who I think is so personable and so brilliant, struggled, my struggles are normal. You will get through this. It was very, very encouraging.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. This is what we can tap into. I have a huge brand to represent out there. It's my responsibility to do it well. Mm-hmm. And all these other people who have invested lives like you, 10 years?
Yeah.
How many years now? 2003?
Yeah, 16
to
years.
2020?
16, 17 years, yeah.
You've been investing in this brand, and I know you're a giver. You give to people all the time. So we have to invest in the brand. We have to safeguard it. We have to love it. WSI is something that deserves to be represented out there.
Right.
I truly believe it.
So tell me now, where would you see yourself in 5 years' time after you've made that million or two?
I would be like you. I want to be able to work from my boat.
Work from my boat.
I would love to work from my yacht in the Caribbean someplace. So just a little tidbit. My son was born in a country called Barbados in the Caribbean. I worked for SO. I was a liaison for the French markets in the Caribbean. And Barbados is sort of the seat of those CARICOM nations. And my markets were Guadeloupe, Martinique, French Guyana, and Dominica, all the French-speaking nations. And I became a citizen while I was there. And the only reason that I came back is because I lost my husband. I would go back in a heartbeat.
Right.
For sure. So I would love to do that.
So for somebody that's, came across this interview and, is looking around to start a business like this, what advice would you give a new WSI consultant, right? So someone who started in the franchise.
Good one. Listen. Keep your ears open. Forget what you learned corporate side.
Yeah.
Forget everything that you learned in your career about operations. Because operating this is very different. You can leverage your skill. I mean, a lot of new people come in, they are accomplished salespeople. Other people come in as accomplished digital marketing people. There's Sharon Hernstein that I work with quite a bit.
Right.
I would treat her like a cross-functional peer because we work together. Because she has skills that I don't have. She used to work at the enterprise level in sales, and she's as cool as a cucumber on a sales call. She's very, very good. So listen, learn, work hard, take advice from those who've done it before. Don't stand on anything ego. Put it all aside, because being an entrepreneur is a very, very different play than working in a corporate environment.
Right.
Very different. And sell your heart out.
Good. Sell. That's what it's got to be. So I always ask people, what would be your personal motto that you go by?
It's something that, I don't know, it's just always been in me.
Yeah.
Like, be in it to win it or go home.
Right. I like that,
Winning, like losing is not an option.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
I agree with that. I'm always into win it as well. And I always say, not accepting second best. And I try and teach that to my grandchildren, to my kids, to my staff. I'm saying, if you dish something up and it's not good, it's not your best, do it again. Like, don't dish it up if it's second best. And, many times, quite a few people know that I like cooking, right? So I cook probably every evening, most evenings. I enjoy it. And, Mariana will sit up with a beer and the newspaper, and I'll do the cooking. We'll have a glass of wine together while we cook together. And many times I'm making some meal and it's not working out, and I just trash it and start again. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I can't dish it up. It's not my best work." So it's like,
it's not edible. Not to my liking.
Not to my liking.
Yeah.
All right. So we're nearing the end of our interview, and just to end up on a bit of fun. So if we were to go to a happy hour, and I wanted to go to happy hour with you last time in Mexico, and I think you were ill. You didn't get out of your room when we were there, So I thought, but what would you order?
This is going to make you laugh, and it's the absolute truth. I would order a really good double single malt on the rocks with a Cuban cigar.
With a Cuban cigar.
It is the most delicious combination in the world.
So listen, Heidi, I got
Not
this.
pretty for a girl.
Not pretty for a girl. I'm imagining this girl with a double single malt, a cigar on a yacht. What's wrong with that picture?
Right?
That's a good picture. It's one of success. Like you can take anybody on.
I love myself a good scotch and a good cigar.
Yeah, lovely.
Not healthy, but delicious.
Okay. So I really appreciate, the time that you've given up. We're always so busy, but these are such a lot of fun and just to catch up as well. So you've spent, what is it? Like probably just about, it's 45 minutes. If you could have been anywhere else other than speaking to me right now, this minute, where would you want to be?
There is only one place that I would be if I weren't talking to you right now and running this business. His name is Logan. His name is Logan Carl Bruce. He's my grandson. He is the most beautiful child I have ever laid my eyes on. He is the crowning joy of my life. And I never knew, Francois, that I could love anyone as much as I love his father. But the fact of the matter is that I do. He's the most beautiful, precious little munchkin in the whole wide world. I could never have dreamed of anything better. An angel from heaven, this little boy. Yeah. He's 20 months old, and I live and breathe for him, honestly. So if I get up in the morning and I do anything, it's for them. I want my son to be proud of his mother. He lost his dad too young. Yeah. So I want him to say, my mom, she's the bomb. And I want my little grandson to see that, if you persevere, if you do the right things, if you dust yourself off and move on, you can accomplish anything.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Really. So he's my reason.
And I can see that, and I must say, grandchildren have changed our lives completely. And if you look at my day,
right?
My day starts off with, where are my grandchildren? Am I going to fetch them from school? Am I taking them to school? Am I going to take them to sport, play guitar, fishing? Put that in the diary, and then when Heidi wants a meeting, no, Heidi, I'm really busy today. It'll have to be tomorrow. and they come first, and everything else, fits in around that, and it's fantastic. I must say, you go through life, and you end up being rewarded for a lot of things, going forward like that. So thanks for sharing that.
I agree with you more.
Yeah.
These are our people, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So Heidi, it was wonderful. I could do this all day. It was really a nice chat.
Yeah, it was fun.
I think we should do a Zoom happy hour, you and me, with a couple of Cuban cigars. We can get.
Yeah, that would be fun. Actually, we could do a virtual one and get a whole bunch of people on there, right? Yeah. It would be fun.
All right. So thanks so much. Thanks so much for sharing your story with us. It was really wonderful to listen to. And, we're looking forward to putting it out on our network. And, anybody out there, especially a girl who likes cigars and drinks whiskey, you might find that this is a business that could actually fit your dreams to end up with a yacht. So thanks so much, Heidi.
Right?
I'll talk to you again soon.
It's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much. I love spending time with you. Thank you.
Okay, then.
Good.
Bye, Heidi.
Bye-bye.